Good morning, everyone. I am very happy and excited to host you today for our September webinar on the Brighter Monday Talking Talent webinar series. So, thank you very much for joining us today. Kindly let me know if I'm audible by giving me. Okay, can everyone hear me? Please do let me know if you can hear me on the chat box. Yes, great, great. I'm glad that you can all hear me. So, for those of you who don't know us, Brighter Monday is a leading digital recruitment platform in Tanzania. We are a full-fledged HR platform offering all service related to talent and people management. Uh, we we are part of ROM, Ringia One Africa Media, which is the largest digital publishers, allowing global brands to reach targeted audience, nationality, and continental by each vertical that we operate at. So, sorry. Okay, yeah, okay. Can you all hear me? I have a feeling that people cannot hear me. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. So, our vision is to be the leading source of talent in our marketing by providing a platform through which job seekers and talent acquisition is simplified. I know most of you, we have interacted, and I'm very happy to see we have a lot of new faces around on this session today. We are going to be talking about post-crisis HR and leadership strategies, as we are all living a post-crisis era, the new norm, as we like to call it. I know some of you are still working remotely full-time, some are working remotely partially, and some are full back at the office. So what is post-crisis like for you and your company? Please let us know on the chat box so we can make this a very engaging session. Without further delay, I would like to welcome our first speaker. As most of you, I know most of you have attended our previous session, are excited as much as we are to host her back. So our first speaker is Heather O'Shea. She's the group head of talent at Rome. Heather has over 10 years of experience in designing and implementing e-recruitment tools as well as global talent management system. She's a talent acquisition professional with extensive experience in recruiting across over 23 countries in Africa, managing team in East and West of Africa, working with them to deliver Africa's finest talent across the industry. So Heather will be speaking about post-crisis um, post-crisis HR strategies. If you know Heather, we all know no one is more qualified to talk about this topic than she is, because she has been a champion right from the start when we had COVID cases across the country. She has been with her managing several brands across Africa, she has been in a position to implement several strategies from working to home back to the offices, and she's still at it. So Heather will be uh, touching on this key point and sharing her experience on what has worked for her, what strategies she has been using to make sure that she's guiding the team and managing the team well during this time of crisis. Welcome, Heather.
Hi, everybody. Urka, I don't see myself on screen as yet. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I cannot see. I
I
cannot
can't
see
see.
you.
I can't see me either.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove you from the screen and invite you again. So you have
Okay,
to accept
I'll do
both
it
audio
again.
and visual. Yes.
Got you. Still can't.
Uh, I suspect that Eva is having a connection issue. Just give us 1 or 2 minutes and she'll be here. All right. So I think we are experiencing a technical difficulty in trying to connect Eva. So we're gonna try it one more time. Um, just give it 1 minute. Okay, as we wait to have Eva, I think we would like to start with Elgad, the second speaker. And when we sorted the issue, Eva's gonna be here with us. So Elgad is, I'm like very excited to have him here. Is one of the best leadership speaker that I know. Elgad is a social and digital innovator and digital innovation evangelist. Is very passionate about leadership development and has a special interest in exploring novel approach to inspire new generation of youth to tackle on some of the most pressing development challenge through social platform and leadership. So he is an acumen fellow, he's a farmer, he's a marathoner, a bookworm, and an amateur writer. And he's also my friend. I know some of you who have attended our previous, some of our session before. We have had the pleasure of having him here with us. And I would not want to like spoil it by saying a lot of words. So Elgad, please join us on screen. We are very excited to hear from you. One minute is joining us. So as we wait, we'd like to hear from you. Are you guys back at the office or you're still working from home? Please share with us on the chat box so we can be able to also touch on that. Hi, Elgad. Good morning.
Hi, Erica. How are you?
How
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So we're very happy to have you on the session with us. And thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for taking your time to be here with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank
Elga,
you.
the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Erica, for this opportunity. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We cannot see you, but we can hear you.
Can you hear? Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you now.
Okay.
Screen.
I think there's a bit of delay, but I'm going to try to go ahead.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And thank you very much, Erica, for this opportunity to participate in this session today. And I'm very excited to be here. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you and the BMTZ team for this opportunity, but also to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has participated into this session today. Yeah, Elegate Dawson has been introduced, and one of the big things that I've been exploring for a long time is about leadership. And you know, but for me, I have chosen a path whereby I want to support organization as they think about leadership strategies and supporting the strategy. Yeah, and today I want to have a discussion around 5 tips to reposition your organization for the post-COVID future. We know we are already we've been living in this unprecedented, been quite a challenge in terms of supporting organizations and you know, COVID pandemic has ripped apart many organizations across the world. And as we know up to now, some of the organizations have already extinct. Some of already are still alive because they've positioned themselves as an important organizations. But also, all organizations, we know for sure that all organizations will change forever. So, what is the solution forward? And for me, is more of a leadership strategy, but a particular kind of leadership that I would call creative leadership, which I strongly believe that is an essential element in overcoming crisis now and in creating a better future that provides opportunity for leaders to grow. is one of the things that creative leadership provides is an opportunity for leaders to be proactive, where leaders can take action, can look forward, think about the future, and again, create strategies that will help them such as pandemics that will come into the future to ensure that the businesses are floating, but also the businesses are prospering. It is also an opportunity for leaders to prepare for future crises. We don't know what crises will come into the future, so it's very important for leaders now to plan and to arrange. So one of the things that I want to start with is one of the tips for to reposition the organization for future of COVID. I think is for more organization and more important for HR people to be able to be people-centered. We know the impact of pandemic and what has happened. Therefore, we all know that the most important asset for an organization to be able to be productive, to overcome the crisis of the pandemic is people. People are the most resourceful and the biggest asset within an organization. So to be able to move forward around this pandemic, as an HR person, as a business owner, as a CEO, as a lead HR, it's very important that you start with your people first. And one of the things that I advise you to do is to shower them with care and individual attention. And I'm talking about individual attention because it's very important to have emotional intelligence to know how individuals within your team have been impacted by the pandemic, and to try to figure out, what are some of the best ways to support individually, but as well as a group within the organization, so that they can cope with any challenges that will come. The other important thing is to be able to listen. So not to listen only with ears, but to be listening with heart and soul, to listen to your people, to really get to know individuals and what are some of the circumstances that they've faced. There are people who have lost part of their income or all of their income. There are people who have lost some of their team members. So it's very important really to listen so that you are able to address individual but also the organizational challenges and to be able to support everyone. The other important thing is to be empathetic and to be more empathetic and to use empathy to really try to understand other people's position and support them. And another piece which is very important when it comes to the positioning organization is to ensure that we provide a room for healing wounds. There have been so many wounds around the pandemic. People have lost family, friends, have lost family, have lost friends, have lost their colleagues. People have lost their income. People have been living in a fear, and therefore there's a room. You have to provide a room for healing. Tip number 2 is to create a safe working environment, whereby we have to think about the future and what if such a pandemic will come back. So we are hearing about other waves, wave number 2, wave number 3 in other countries and in other continents. Keep the physical safety measures that we already have for COVID safety. Again, to reassure your people that, with actions, you reassure people with actions, not only with words, that they are safe where they are working, but also to support emotionally, as I've explained previously. And another important thing is to continue
I believe Eligad is having some technical difficult, but is trying to connect with us. So, I mean, as we wait for Elgad, Eva can just chip in and keep the conversation going. Hi, Eva.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Can everybody see me? I can just see in the box on the side. Can everybody hear and see me? The guest speaker is back. So, Urka?
Yes, I can hear you, Eva, and I can see you. Elgad, can you hear us?
There
So,
you go. Guest
ye-
speaker's back.
so Elgad, welcome back.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Elgad, we can hear you.
Hello?
So,
Hello?
yes, Elgad, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Where you guys lost me. Can you remind me? Can you tell me?
Yes, we lost you on the safe working environment. So if we can start from there.
Sorry, Erica, I'm exiting and joining in a minute because I have.
So I'm very sorry for that. Elga is trying to reconnect. So I'm glad to hear that your comment on regards if you're still at the office or at home. So Ronak said he's still working from home. Ronak, how is it like? For how long have you been working from home? Eva said that she's also still working from home. Mustafa is also working from home. So Martha is back at the office. Martha, how is it like going back to the office? Do you guys have any guidelines or policies that you have set to make sure that going back, you're back at the office and you're running smoothly while keeping safe? Lucia also said she's back at the office. So how is it like being back at the office? Penella also said she's back at the office. We would like to hear your experience. How is it like being back at the office? Shaban and Laura are also back at the office. Oh, wonderful. So, guys, would really like to hear how is it like going back to the office? And if you're still at home, how are you keeping up with working from home or working remotely? Do you guys have policies that are guiding you to ensure that you're working from home, you're working remotely is while managing your performance and of course making sure that your business is sustaining these times. So as we wait for Elgad, I would really like to hear from you guys. Oh, Salah, she's back at the office. So how is it like being back at the office? Okay, Eva said policies are in place. Infrastructure like UPS is up and working as well. Working from home is working very well. Great, good. We're happy to hear that. Eva, um, Salia said business is still conducting slowly. Yes, I think this is for everyone. We are also experiencing slow conversion as on business, but we are also very positive and optimistic that very soon, maybe in near future, we are gonna, elevate from where we are right now. as we keep trying to do our best to make sure that every day we are growing as a business and as individual. So Elgad is still having trouble trying to connect. So as we wait for Elgad, we would like to welcome Heather. Somebody just texted me and say, you didn't have to introduce Heather as she needed no introduction. Well, I am happy and glad to hear that. So Heather, I think people are very excited to hear from you. So let's start with you as we wait for Elgad to connect back.
So good morning from a very sunshiny Cape Town where I am based. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share our knowledge and grow together. I'm going to go through my presentation. So, okay, if you can just start presenting that and we can get going. It's so nice to see you all again. Very excited to share our learnings. Salah, just on your point while Urka's getting my presentation up, businesses are still conducting slowly, and yes, we know that. But the good news is that we're starting to see the turn. And I think that is encouraging in itself, that everybody is starting to slowly get back to work, and businesses are starting to recover. So I'm going to go through my presentation with you while it loads. And I'm just so glad that we are back. And isn't this just the joys of being back and working in this environment with connectivity, heavy rains, stop that a lot of the time. So let me get straight into it and let's start sharing. So if you can go to my next slide for me, please, Urka, that would be great. So guys, remember January 2020 when we all welcomed 2020 in and we celebrated? Well, what a year. And if anybody says not what a year, you are sorely mistaken and you've been asleep for the last 9 months. Nobody could have anticipated what hit us, and it hit us hard. So if you just go to my next slide for me, please, Urka. But the good news is there are things that you must look back on. So where your company was in March 2020 looks very different now. I mean, let's be totally honest. February, we all heard about COVID. Exactly, Lucy, what a year. We heard about COVID somewhere in, that side of the world. And the next thing, it was on our continent. And then it was getting bad and people were getting sick and offices were closing down. And there was this crazy scramble to how do we do this? So I don't want to look back. Seriously, could we just skip it? Absolutely, Lucy. Could we just do a reboot? So I think what's important, go back one more slide for me, please, Urka. Oh, no, sorry, stay where you are. So, right, that's great, thanks. So I think what's important for companies to realize now is that you need to adjust your strategy. I mean, strategies are done normally the year before and you implement them in January and everybody's on the same page. And then bam, 2020 hit and COVID came and said hello. So I think you must look at it from a very positive perspective, is that you need to adjust your strategy in time to rebuild. So where you are now opposed to where you thought you would be from a business perspective 9 months later is a very different picture. We've had people lose their jobs. We've had businesses crash, as my other speaker was saying, but it's an opportunity. So, there's this good old saying, in every crisis, look for the opportunity, and that's what we need to look for. But one of the really things you need to consider is build your strategy with your staff. So, if you do this top-down approach right now, you're going to miss a lot of it. So my real take to you is, as you redefine your strategy and build your new way forward, do it as a unit. Bring the staff in, ask them what they think. And even if you run a survey and, whatever you want to get out of that survey, is include your staff in the rebuilding of your organization. And that is so important because the staff understand where you're going now. They understand that they are part of the solution, and include HR. You've got to bring that human element into play. And, we saw HR as positions of HR escalate very quickly. All the webinars that I've been on have been HR people, not CEOs, because they look to HR for guidance. So my suggestion to you is really include HR, bring the human element into plan, and start to realign. So it's, you've got to bring all these scattered pieces back together again, but do it as a unit and communicate with your teams and rebuild together. So you're bringing all those, it's like building that puzzle again, and bring all those scattered pieces back together again. Next slide, please, Urka. So one of the biggest things that happen is staff look to leadership to say, where do we go? So they'll be looking to leadership for direction as well as reassurance. COVID is serious. There are a lot of people, I personally have lost friends to COVID, and everybody, I think, at this stage knows somebody who possibly had it, who has recovered, and unfortunately, we did lose some really, really good people and friends and colleagues. So they're going to look to leadership for direction. So what does leadership need to do? Leadership needs to reassure that the offices have been cleaned and are ready for staff to come back to work. Absolutely critical that we've done what we wanted to do, that you have hand sanitizer in the office. So you can constantly, we've all got very dry hands from the hand sanitizer and the alcohol, but hand sanitizer in the office just brings that element of reassurance in. That the office is set up to maintain social distancing. So if you were all sitting next to each other, you can't do that anymore because you've got to be careful. So the offices we need to reconstruct, and HR does that in the background. And in our organization, everything else has been put together from a point of view that we've got spaces between everybody. We've marked out areas where people can sit. And then guidelines on how to interact at the office are essential from leadership. So the old days of being able to possibly sit together and have lunch, you can't. We've had some fun with it where we've got like 2 meters between us, and we, meeting each other with our elbows and saying good morning with our masks on, and we're sitting far away, but at least the infrastructure was set up, so the guidelines were definitely in place. From a support perspective, also, ask yourself this question. Does everybody need to return to the office now? If working from home, and I'll go into that in a second, is working well, then keep those colleagues at home if it's working well. Because we've all adjusted to working remotely, but some roles can still be done very effectively from a work from home environment. So in my instance, I have been into the office once since March. And I came back from a trip from Nigeria, had to self-isolate, and then obviously the COVID hit really hard. And I've been at home since March. I've been to the office once. And for me and my team across Africa, heading up Rome, we're coping really, really well with that because HR is doing well. My team are in the offices probably twice a week, dealing with the staff and showing everybody that we can do this. So ask yourself first, does everybody need to return to the office? And then work out who can and who cannot. And there's some really important factors that you need to consider when talking about who do I bring back to the office. So in my next slide, please, Urka. How many of those can still work from home? So do they have the infrastructure? And guys, another thing, the primary caregivers had it really hard with having children at home. And for those that were not primary caregivers with children around your feet, I absolutely salute you because it must have been a lot of an easier adjustment. So take into account their current situation. But what is that? You need to ask yourself, what is your current situation? Are the children back at work? At home, back at school? So it was difficult enough working from home with children at home. So are the children settled back at school? So don't forget that human factor. So ask the question, are the children back at school? Yes or no? Do you want to come back to work? Some people were desperate to get back into a work environment. And then make the call as to who stays at home and who actually then comes back to work. So from a Rome perspective, we actually did one, and I may have said this on one of my other webinars with you, we went one step further for the moms and dads who were primary caregivers that were working from home. We ran a virtual nursery school one day, and we had a nursery school teacher online who just helped moms and dads with different areas of how to keep children occupied. Because if you think you're stressed, so are the little ones. So when you're looking at how do you bring people back to work, ask the questions. Don't make the assumption that people can come back to work and then have to scramble on how to look after their children. So please don't forget the human factor of how, I mean, look at this poor woman here. She's got a briefcase in her hand, she's got the groceries, she's got the dog, and she's got the child who wants to play. So don't forget the human factor then in working out who comes back to work and who stays, who has the infrastructure and who can. The other thing that's very important, as I said in my first slide, is you have to start building and bring all these scattered pieces back together again, and you have to reconnect. So from an HR perspective and as professionals and leadership, look at how do I rebuild the team? How do I rebuild people's work ethic? How do I rebuild this unity that became scattered with everybody being at home? So all staff, no matter what position they hold, has had an incredibly stressful year. So put activities back into the work schedule to get people connected again. So what we've done from a Rome perspective, if we've started a Fun Friday. Some people have done other things, but we've labeled it a kind of a Fun Friday. And we've done things like play general knowledge every Friday via Zoom or Google Hangouts. Some of the offices where people are back, we've played carpet bowls. Carpet bowls is easy, guys. Get a ball, get some old empty Coke bottles, fill them with half sand, and you can play carpet bowls in the office. Everybody's still got a mask on. Everybody's keeping social distancing. But start to have some work and fun so you can have prizes. And why is that important? It's important because people at work are a unit. You become a little mini community. And with COVID, that destroyed all of that. So it's very important to start to bring those pieces and make people feel connected again. These are just some examples. You can Google a multitude of things to start team building again. You can do virtual dinners with staff. The Trivial Pursuit, by the way, or general knowledge works really, really well because it becomes competitive. So work out some ways of being able to bring those scattered units back together and reconnect as a team and also reconnect as a business. Very, very important to do that, to reconnect with your staff. Next slide, please, Urka. Yes, leadership, new policies and guidelines. So people need to know what happens when I get back to the office. So ours are very, very rigid in terms of what we put together from policies. So if you're not feeling well, stay at home. If you've got a cold, stay at home. You don't want to give that cold to anybody else. And also, if you're not feeling well and you suspect you've got COVID, we put plans in place that said, what do I do if I'm not feeling well? What do I do if I test positive for COVID? Who do I contact? How do I manage that? And so understanding those policies and guidelines are absolutely critical for your staff so that they have a clear runway of understanding what do I do and how do I do it? Are there new working hours? So some companies are working only 9 till 3 so that their staff can avoid the heavy traffic in the morning for your commuters that are coming in using matatus or using other public transport methods. So you can, stagger working hours. If people have got COVID, sick leave, are you making allowances for people? From a Rome perspective, I can share this with you. We had 7 of our staff members during this dreadful period test positive for COVID. We rallied around them, and some of our staff took a long time to recover. Some of our staff were off for 6 weeks recovering from COVID. So you need to look at your new sick leave policies. You can't just tell them now, sorry, you've used up your sick leave, because you need the empathy. You need to be real. So all these things take into account and put your guidelines together that says, what do I do if I don't feel well? What do I do if I get COVID? Who do I contact? Because, and to end off for me, the golden rule that is the final takeaway from me is your company is only as good as its staff on any given day. So be real, be empathetic, rebuild, and do it together with all of your staff. Critically important. If you don't have staff, you don't have a business. And that's it from me. Is there any questions, Urka, that people would, and please excuse me, see I've got my puppies behind me, the joys of working from home, and everybody knows who my dogs are because I got used to being introduced to my dogs. Any questions from me, Urka?
So we have some comments.
Yes.
We have Martha saying that, well, we have sanitizers all around the office. Our workstation meters apart. We maintain social distance. We wash our hands regular. Every employer has their own personal sanitizers on their desk. We also
Fantastic.
get our temperature checked before and after leaving the office. We
Okay,
also
good.
have,
That's brilliant. Yes.
yes, we also have Penella saying that we actually observe safe procedures, and we are flexible for those staffs that are not comfortable to work from the office. We also allow flexible working from home. We are also allow the flexibility to work from home.
So well done, Martha and Penelia. Well done. That's fantastic. Again, it's the human element. It's the guidelines, processes, procedures that need to be in place. And, from a Rome perspective, a lot of our staff that went on remote didn't have Wi-Fi at home. So we even set up dongles and data and continually give people data. So don't underestimate also the stress that your staff have been under, which is why it's vitally important to reconnect them, bring them back together as a unit, do some fun things. And I think when I talk about fun things, some people are also just so tired of talking about COVID. I mean, it's been the topic of conversation for like 9 months. Talk about something different. Have fun. Do a virtual karaoke. Just have people break out of their normal life at the moment. And you'll see that your business impact will start to pick up.
Thank
So
you
that's
very
it from
much,
me.
Eva.
My pleasure.
So I personally like when you say bring the human element into play. I think this is very important. Even for us as marketers, we have truly been in an era that we have to rethink our strategies and communication as we are communicating to humans, and that is why we Brighter Monday brought the Unity Not Visit campaign to make sure that people really understand that we are there for them, and we are also going through what they are going through as well. So thank you very much, Heather. We're
Pleasure.
very
Lovely to
happy
be here.
to have you here. So
Thanks.
I know we don't have any questions yet, but we will you will keep attending these questions as they come in.
Sure.
So I'm glad to have you back, Elgad. So
Thank you.
yeah, we can just pick and recap from where you left us and move forward from there.
Sure. So let me share my screen. Can you see the slide, Erica?
Yes, yes, I can see your screen and I can see the slide.
Okay, thank you. So yes, I'll just do a quick recap. So I had mentioned several tips, and the first one was, be people-centered, and I think Heather has mentioned a lot of that. Be empathetic. Bring the human component back into work. Shower your people with care and individual attention, because I said, different individuals have been impacted differently, and the most important one around that is to heal wounds. So if there's provide a room for your people to heal, if from the consequences and tragedies which have been caused by the pandemic. And again, create the safe environment. The other speaker has already mentioned that, keep the physical safety measures post-COVID. Don't assume that, things, have completely gone. We never know what is going to happen. But again, it's good to keep your staff safe, because, I know too many sick leaves, again, will really impact the business. And again, reassure your people with actions that they are safe, and support those who were hit the hardest. And again, another very important thing is, provide mental health services for those who are in need, and don't push it to everyone, but those who feel that they need. The third one, which I was just about to talk about, was to create the future. So cast a compelling vision of the future for the organization. So review the strategy, because the strategies that were used previously will not necessarily work as we move forward. So you have to analyze the gaps and see what is happening and create a new strategy with imagination of multiple future scenarios, such as, what if there's another COVID pandemic? What if there's any other global catastrophe that will impact your business? So to think the future, and this starts with the culture of the organization. For example, people are not used to work from home previously, but right now, most of the people will continue to work from home for the longest time. So your culture will eat your strategy for breakfast if you won't change it. So it's very important that you do that. And again, think about new business model in terms of value chains, in terms of how you connect with your customers, in terms of how you add value to your customers in a way that, will be possible to have your business floating and prospering in case there's any other pandemic or any other future risks. And again, invest in innovation in in the whole value chain of a business, so that you're able to prepare for, what is unknown. And another one is to cut unnecessary costs, because you want to be able to have enough resources. And when I was reading about this, I learned about a business that, like, after World War II, where the business owner said, I want to continue to have my staff on payroll, and I want to keep on supporting them, and even ensuring that shareholders are getting their dividend at the end of the year, no matter what happens. So, you cut the necessary costs, but you ensure that your people are happy within the organization, and you continue to support them no matter what. And the other thing is to protect the longevity of your business by ensuring that, there's a sustainability plan in case anything happens. Tip number 4, which is really my area of specialization, is around development of leadership development strategy, which I think is very key. As I said, leadership development strategy is quite a key component when it comes to implementing a strategy for business. So if you explore many business and interview many CEOs, they have a very good business strategy that kind of, set their vision for, 5 years or 2 years, if it's a short-term vision. But they do forget that, to be able to successfully implement that strategy, you need to have
So Elgad is experiencing some technical difficulty again, but is doing his best to reconnect with us. So we have a comment from Shaban, which I think it's a critical comment. He said that some elements of the new normal are here to stay, and since the focus has been on reducing human interaction by capitalizing on technology facilities available, this will leave a permanent revolution in HR, and hence the need to revise leadership and strategies. How are we preparing our employers for this transformation? Wow, I think this is such a critical comment, Shaban, and it's always good to reevaluate and innovate strategies, especially when it's people and leadership related strategy, as we are still on that transformation, as you said, and it's something that will keep evolving, or it's something that we will keep trying to figure out as we leave the era. And that's why we, Brighter Monday, being a supportive HR partner, we have launched the employer handbook that Reshma is going to touch base on it. This handbook is basically to prepare the employers and talent acquisition specialists and HR and everyone who's dealing with people on how best they can act, or the best practice that will guide them in an event that we go through another crisis. Um, yeah, and I think Eva has also addressed that. Eva said that Shaban, include your staff in realignment. A simple survey can manage that, and then address this in town halls regular, so to how the organization is moving forward together. Yes, I 100% agree with Eva, as she mentioned. on a presentation, that is very important to act and discuss this as a unit by making sure that you're involving everyone on it. Um, So I'll keep reading the comments as we wait for Elgar to reconnect. So, okay, Shabani said, beside financial breakdowns and other material effects that can easily be assessed and quantified, what is the consideration for psychological damage among humans, and how we are incorporating this need in the adjustment of our leadership and strategies? Yeah, Eda said psychological counseling is a must. I think we are also in an era where we are hearing conversation like mental health. We are hearing things like emotional intelligence that really play a key role in trying to understand the mental health of your people, and also counseling and really trying to get to understand what they're going through. Eva also added that people are your company. Don't forget that, and without them, you have nothing. So she also added that employer handbook is essential, and all the tips, comment, and recommendation and other essential information to be able to keep your business moving forward. Yes, I 100% agree with Heather. And as we go on with the session, there is a green tab on your screen that says equip yourself with the best practice to manage through the crisis, and download your free copy. So you can have the you can download the employer handbook for free. It's a very insightful read. As you can see, it has touched on all of the key elements and topics that has been gathered around from the people we talked to or interviewed in the country, and expert all over the world on what will be the best practice of the HR and leadership moving forward. So as we wait for Elgad, I would like to welcome Reshma on screen. So Reshma is going to walk us through this handbook. She's going to touch on what is this handbook, and what does this handbook represent, what is it on the handbook, and she will also be giving us a review on the handbook. And she will have, like, I don't want to spoil it, but I think Reshma will give us some very good and valid insight on this handbook. For those of you who don't know her, Reshma, she's our CEO. Hi, Reshma.
Hi, Erica. Hello, everyone. Heather Elegard, thank you so much for the information you have shared. I hope you can all hear me well. I'm assuming you can. So good morning, everyone. I think it's been a great learning for all of us over the last few months, and one of the things that I loved what Eligard said. He said, "Your culture will eat you for breakfast, or will eat your company for breakfast," and I think this is why I'm here today. This is my part of the contribution to the webinar. I think that was very, very very profound. Eligard, thank you for that. I'm going to use that in some of my presentations, because it's really, really profound. I was going to start, and I'll still do it. One of the quotes from Socrates is so relevant today, and that's: the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And now we're talking about this new norm. I know that we've always had change in our lives, but never at this speed. And I don't think at this intensity. And you know, I said this previously, and it resonates in all my conversations, is that I think we've never been so close globally. When we say global village, I think the pandemic really made us a global village, because we're all living very much similar lives, regardless of what our culture is or where we're situated geographically. And I think this really taught us as well how empowering digitization and technology is in our lives, both personally as well as at work, because productivity, I think, is what is going to really be the key game changer. How productive are we in coming out of this pandemic? And our survival really will depend on that as well, especially since, as many of you mentioned, in the comments, is that we've seen a really slowdown in our economy. But how do we turn that around? And being productive, I think, is going to be the key to the success of grabbing whatever growth there is out there. And I think, like I've mentioned, there are plus points here with regards to coming out of a crisis. We're now, it's easier for us to embrace this change. Before, you would have fought change a little bit, going digital. Companies, were a bit slower going digital. Now we're a little more, accepting. We've seen the benefits of going digital, of using digital solutions in our lives, professionally and personally. I don't know what I would have done without FaceTime, for example, keeping in touch with my family when we were all in isolation. And I think it has also allowed us to be more introspective about what we really want to achieve. And then, of course, the follow-up question of how do we want to achieve this? And more importantly, because we are in the business of the human resource, is with whom? I mean, how and who do we want on this journey for us to achieve what we need to? We have a lot of catch up to do. 2020 has slowed us down, and 2021 will really be about, and hopefully before 2021, Q4 hopefully will be about catch up, and we need to have the right the right formula for us, as no matter how big your company is or how small your company is with headcount or with regards to your categorization, it doesn't matter. The resonating themes are the same, productivity, going digital, and working much smarter than what we used to. And of course, the new norm, embracing the change. So one of the things that we at Brighter Monday and our parent company, Rome, strives, and this is one of our key elements of survival, you can say, is being more than a one-dimensional service provider, where there's only a give and take. We really, this is our strive. We have an internal motto that 1% better every single day, and we ask this question every day, no matter who it is. It could be our sales manager, it could be our recruitment officer, our human resources, our finance, our front desk manager, whoever it is, at whatever level. I think it's very important for us all to ask that question, is that how can we be more more multidimensional in what we do. And our aim at Brighter Monday is to provide the 360 support, the 360-degree support system in the sector. We're in the business of empowering people and empowering employers, companies, where there is more than just connecting the best employer to the best employee or candidate. We want to make an impact as the leading recruitment and HR solutions company. And how do we do this? One of the things that we look at is that how can we be a support, a credible, good support to our customers? And one of the answers that came about was, how about an employer's handbook? And this didn't just come off like, one day we thought about it and the next day we have a book. Our marketing team, our R&D, our L&D, all of them really came together, put their heads together, and we came to you, our customers, and we tried to garner better understanding of how will this work now? How will we work? How do we get to that point where, we are able to embrace the change, but we're also doing it in a very, very systematic and in a structured manner. And productivity, there's a saying that productivity is being able to do things that you will never be able to do before, that you were never able to do before. So this was something that we thought, hey, let's look at this. And our team worked, this is all across Africa. We spoke to all of you, our customers, and we put our ear on the ground, and we came up with a few key insights that can be of assistance to companies, to HR professionals with regards to how do we go back to work, but more importantly, how do we survive and continue to be productive and enhance our productivity. So I'd like I'll take this opportunity. There are a lot of insights in this handbook, and I'm not doing it justice in just giving you 3. But I'll tell you what resonated with me. I had 3 main insights. One was the communication and transparency. The second was performance management and well-being, the well-being of your team, and of course, the post-crisis strategy. So very briefly, and I hope you all read this handbook. It's really fantastic. And I'm not saying it because we own it, but because we want all of you to own it. It's also because I really do think it is relevant. It is relevant to all of us today. And I'm really very proud of our team for bringing this up. It's something that I am proud of. So I hope that you will take the time. It's an easy read, and you can do this in your free time. But one of the main key insights, communication and transparency, I think is critical. I think Heather has spoken about it, Elegard has spoken about it, and we're hearing this as a resonating theme as well in the news and in various webinars, that we need to now come together with regards to our team. It doesn't matter that you're a CEO or what level in the organization you're in. If you empower every single person in your organization and have them own the vision of the company, then they will be there to ensure that this is realized. I think we sometimes forget to have buy-in from our team members, to invest and invest that time and trust them with what our vision is, and try and rein in, or not rein in, but actually harness the passion and instill the passion in them as well, for us to realize this is the time where we can really break those barriers. And this handbook, I think, provides these insights very, very strategically and very clearly. And it's something I really believe in. I speak to all my team members, regardless of where they are in the organizational structure, because it's important for me. It's important for me to have them understand where we want to go, where do we want to take this company, and that will really open up productivity. I have seen this in the way that I manage as well with regards to my team members, and it's very important. I cannot emphasize more with regards to being as transparent as possible in order for you to build that passion within your team to realize the vision for the company. And I won't touch on this too much because I think Heather said it perfectly. Our most precious resource in any company, you could have the best technology, you can have the best offices, you can be in the best position, you can be number one, but your most precious resource is your team, is your HR, is your employee. And as employers, I think that this is the time for us to really, really look at ways to empower them. And again, it comes back to being transparent and having them buy in and allowing them to grow with you. If we allow our team members to grow, our employees to grow with us, it's a done deal. At least I believe. I've seen this. I think it also instills that ownership, that you're looking after your team, you're understanding their challenges, and that let's address it. Let's try and find out what is it that you need for you to be more productive, and more productivity means more profit, hopefully, or at least the road to profitability. And the last theme that I'll speak to you about within the handbook, and there are a lot more than these three. I'm not doing justice to this to the handbook, is the post-crisis strategy. And I think that we're all in this mode right now. How do we get out of this? How do we make sure we survive? And how do we do this in the most efficient and streamlined manner? And I think coming back to human resources and our talent, it's really important for us. This is the best time as well for us to assess and retain the best talent that we have. It's time to assess whether are we using these talents in the right place, and how can we ensure that our talent actually is empowered enough to make sure that it takes the company to where it wants to be. So assessing and retaining and onboarding them in this new norm. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make is that we assume that, everyone knows. No, it could be the most minor details. More information is not it. You could, okay. So the saying is that, keep it short and simple. In this case, I don't agree with that. I believe that if there is a change in policy, if you do want a buy-in from your employees, make sure that they are empowered with the knowledge. Do not assume that they already know. It's good to ensure that they understand the importance. It could be the new norm of, it could be a transition from working from home to coming back to the office. How is it going to be? What are the expectations? Have you clearly outlined the expectations for your employees going forward? Because things have changed. Your expectations have changed over the last 2 or 3 months, 6 months. And what are your expectations in the short term? What are your expectations in the long term? And more importantly, I cannot emphasize how important it is to be relevant in the market. And embracing technology will help you be relevant in the market, will help you understand better what other companies are doing will help you also be more productive. An example for Brighter Monday and recruitment is that, you know, the traditional let me post an ad in the newspaper, and then you have hundreds, if not thousands, of applications on paper that you're going through. You have your HR department, your managers going through trying to find the best talent possible. That is a waste of money. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's not productive. And one of the things that we've seen in human resource management and in acquisition is that using technology can actually find you your best possible, the best possible talent for the position that you need filled, and at the click of your finger, or at really at, you know, just at tapping at your keyboard, you're able to post your job. You're able to get all these CVs on onto the platform. You can then, you know, decide and look for what is the best fit for you. So a digital a digital solution is also going to really enhance your productivity, like we do here at Brighter Monday. And I think I think you'll agree with me. I hope you'll agree with me that this handbook really has a lot to learn from, because even though this is our handbook, I've learned a lot from it as well. And I hope you, if you've not already done so, that you'll download it and let us know what your thoughts are. We're very open, and we would love to hear from you with regards to what you think about the content in there and what you would like to see us do more in the future. So I'll leave you with a quote that I have in my diary from Michael Dell, who is the CEO of Dell. And what he said is that we are all navigating this new normal together as we lock arms virtually and try to help each other in the ways we can. Our vast world suddenly feels a little smaller and a lot more connected. And for that, we are grateful. And this is what this Employer's Handbook stands for, to lock arms virtually and to help each other in whatever way we can. So thank you for having me. And we really look forward to engaging you and getting your thoughts on our handbook. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Reshma, for such a brief and detailed review of the handbook. So we have some few questions and comment for you. We have Adam. Adam is asking, is there a correlation between how far into a crisis we are and the willingness to adapt?
It's never too late to adapt. It really is never too late to adapt. As long as you recognize that you need to adapt, and the beauty of it is, never think you're too late. If there is, when you've come to a realization you need to adapt, the best thing to do, I would say, and one of the first key things is that learn. Find out what other similar companies are doing. What have they done to adapt? Just like, Heather has shared with you what our policies are with regards to adapting to this new norm in the office and working from home. So there is information out there. And we are also very happy to share our learnings with you very openly, but never too late to adapt, never. I think it's just, the question should be how fast you need to implement the adaptation.
Yeah, so we have a very strong comment from Martha. Martha is saying, as a digital manager, it makes me happy now that a lot of companies in my country are embracing the digital technology. The pandemic it has had, but has taught us on many benefits of digital technology. I believe it's essential for everyone to capitalize, learn, and embrace digital technology in our workplace, as we clearly need to make our workload easier.
Absolutely. I
So that
totally
is
agree.
very, very, yes, it's such a valid comment, Martha. Thank you very much for that. So thank you very much, Reshma. It's always a pleasure having you on screen. Uh, we have come to the end of our session. Thank you very much for joining us. It's my hope that the session was insightful to you as it was to me. I'm very happy that you make time to engage and join us in like every session that we have had. So thank you very much for that. So just a quick recap or takeaway note from all our speakers. They have all insisted on being bold, being empathetic, rebuild and rebuild together with the team as you're strategizing on your HR and leadership strategy when as we all adapt to the post-crisis era. And to make sure that you're not alone on that, Brighter Monday is giving you the employer handbook for free. So the handbook is available for all of us as employers and also as people are all on this as for employers and also for those who are employees and for everyone who cares about the HR community. So please download the handbook, go through it, and we would love to hear your review. There is a tab that say equip yourself with the best practice to manage through the crisis. Download your copy for free, and if you are having any difficulty downloading the handbook, you can reach out to me. I think you all have my email, so just drop a line to me and say, Erica, I'm having difficult trying to download the handbook, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. So thank you very, very much, and until next time, be sure that you've read our employer handbook. Bye.